Vega. She's the program director of Comprehensive Refugee Services at Catholic Charities of Central Florida. They provide care and compassion to eligible refugees living in Orange, Osceola, and Seminole counties. She obtained her master's and bachelor's in social work from the University of Central Florida and has worked in the field of refugee services in different capacities for over 15 years. So take it away, Deborah Vega.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. So yes, I've been with Catholic Charities since 1998, and I worked along with Nadine in our Immigration Services Department. I started as a receptionist, and after I studied and I got through casework, did a lot of social services with the refugees that were coming to our area. After Richard Loeb, which was our director for many years, over 40 years, retired, he said, "You take over CRS." And I said, "No." So I'm with Comprehensive Refugee Services, and this is the arm that we have now that is working with the refugee and immigrant population in the Orlando area. We had a resettlement program that started back in 1975 that has closed about 2 years ago due to the changes in our policy and basically not being able to receive enough refugee resettlement individuals in our Orlando area to be able to resettle due to the changes in where they were coming from and in the stops that they were doing with interviews that were going on overseas, and and blocks that they were putting up for certain nationalities. Our program had to close down. The only refugee resettlement that we're doing right now is if it's an individual that is arriving in a remote location. So if they have family members that are arriving, let's say in the area of Titusville or Brevard County, and they don't have a refugee resettlement program near that area, they do call on us because we've been doing it for such a long time, and we assist. It's working?
I hope. My tab is not working. I don't know why.
Let me see if I press another button. There you go. Yes. Okay, great.
Left and right.
Awesome. Okay. So Comprehensive Refugee Services is a program funded by the federal government. It is administered through the Department of Children and Families. And basically we provide services to individuals in Orange, Seminole, and Osceola counties. Basically what we're trying to do is help these individuals arriving in the Orlando area to be self-sufficient, help them become self-sufficient, and also that they start the process of integration and that it leads to a successful integration in the future. So they don't get fully integrated with 5 years of access to the services. They start that process through. I'm sorry, I've gotten nervous. So who do we serve? We serve refugees, which are individuals that in their country of origin were not able to stay. They left because they feared persecution. And help me with the definition, Nadine. Refugees or asylees.
So refugees or asylees are individuals who are fleeing their country of origin because of natural disaster or political persecution. And that may be, for example, people who were in Syria, people who were coming from Haiti or from Cuba or from a place where they feel that or from Guatemala, for example, where they feel that they have been put in harm's way and they're not able to get the police or government authority to protect them, and they can't go to any other part of that country to seek safe haven. So refugees generally, they will be processed through an agency, it may be the International Red Cross, it may be the UN High Commission for Refugees, or any other non-governmental organization that is boots on the ground trying to process individuals who come into a camp or who may have been in embassies and says that they want to seek asylum but they're already outside the United States. And so these agencies or entities will broker them and will process them, identify them, because a lot of times they're bringing their little backpack, they don't have identification. So you have to figure out who is who and put them in a camp, and then process them, and through Office of Refugee Resettlement, which is a part of the Health and Human Services, they get contracted out, which is a part of the grants that Catholic Charities receives to resettle these individuals into our communities. So I'll give you, for example, here in Central Florida, when I worked at Catholic Charities, it was primarily Vietnamese and Serbo-Croatian individuals, individuals also from Haiti. And if you know a little bit of history, political history, since that time, which was like the early 2000s, Iran-Iraq war, the Iraq and Afghanistani war, we've had individuals who've been refugees from Iraq that were settled in other communities in the United States. And that may be Minnesota, that may be like St. Paul, Minnesota has a huge population. We also serve Somali and Sudanese individuals based on what was going on at that time. And so the refugees are individuals who are processed outside and then are supposed to be welcomed inside the United States. And Catholic Charities is an agency that helps them to provide, through the grants that they receive through DCF and through ORR, housing and food and employment.
So thank you so much, Nadine, I appreciate that. We also serve special immigrant visas. So I guess refugees, they're outside of the country. Asylees have arrived in the United States and are seeking asylum. They cannot return home. So they're in the United States and they're asking the United States to grant them asylum. A special immigrant visa, or a SIV, is an individual that worked for the US government or was helping the military overseas and is seeking asylum here in the United States. A victim of human trafficking, the name says it all. If they are a foreign victim, they do qualify for our services. And Cuban and Haitian entrants. I won't get too into the details of how they, their immigration status is, because it can be kind of cumbersome, but we do serve Cuban and Haitians that are paroled or receive a court hearing here in the United States. Which brings us to the changes that have happened in policy. Right at the end of the Obama administration, they ended the wet foot, dry foot rule. So an individual from Cuba could, as long as they touch land, they would be able to eventually apply for the green card after a year and a day in the United States. So we saw a reduction in the entries of that population, but slowly but surely that entry has increased again through the groups that you're seeing coming from Mexico, because the Cuban and Haitian population also does that trick. They travel into a lot of Haitians are coming actually even from Brazil. They were working in the hospitality industry there and have slowly but surely made it up Mexico, the trek that Nadine showed, and are making their way up to the United States. I will say that through the process of serving this community, I've had one of our cases, very, very heartbreaking Haitian couple whose 2-year-old daughter fell in the river on the way crossing into towards Texas. So we're seeing a lot more of these, as Nadine stated, families are losing family members, not just because they're sick, but they're dying. They're losing them on the way up this journey. And so basically the individuals we serve are coming from Cuba, Haiti, Venezuela, Those are the main populations that we are seeing right now. Venezuelans are mainly asylees. And the services that we provide at CRS include case management, employment services, adult and vocational assistance, legal status assistance, youth and family services, and child care services. So to go a little bit into case management, which is my cup of tea, it's helping that individual, like I said, become self-sufficient, but also start that journey of learning how it is to live in this community, what it is that they need to be aware of, how to be able to access legal services so that they can get an employment authorization so that they can then work. Learning what it is to have a job and how do you keep a job. Maybe there's values and habits that we had back home that that will not allow us to be successful here in the United States. So teaching those type of skills that can help them navigate here in their new community. Employment services, we help them search for jobs. We help coach them on the jobs that they're going to be doing. We provide them on-the-job training, homologations, and career laddering services. There's doctors, there are nurses, there's dentists, we even had a judge at one point that come from these countries that don't have the language skills to be able to compete with others here in the United States for those jobs, but can eventually go back to what they were doing or even close to that field. So accountants, they can come here, hopefully go to English classes, and with their degrees and all their information, receive an homologation and get their credits and everything certified here in the United States, and they can use that to then obtain a career. And we also provide employment education. As far as adult education, for many years we're referring all our clients to Orange County Public School System, Seminole State College, and ALCO, which is the Osceola partner, for English classes. And now Catholic Charities has, since 2014, we've been providing English classes on our own to the population that we serve. So we focused mainly on pre-literacy education, introductory levels, and so the first 3 levels of English. A lot of individuals with, like I said, not literate in their own language and needing assistance in just learning how to use money, and this is a picture of one of our classes. So just understanding what that penny is, and being able to go into a store and spend money according, not just throwing it away. Just basically understanding some of the basic information that you need to be able to survive. So pre-literacy classes is survival English. And then we have an introductory class. We teach classes in the Pine Hills area. We have in the South Orange County area, which are the locations where the majority of our refugees and asylees reside. We have our legal immigration services, or immigration legal services, as Vanessa said. And basically the individuals coming through our program, although they qualify for our services, have legal issues. They're not just coming with, they can apply for their green card in a year and a day. They have to present themselves in court, a lot of the Cuban and Haitian individuals, and prove that they have a legal claim to asylum, so that they can eventually adjust their status and stay in the United States. So that is a part of the work that our friend here, Vanessa McCarthy, does with the clients that we serve at Catholic Charities.
Hi everyone, thanks for letting me crash the lunch. I wasn't originally invited, but she grabbed me and then let's go. So here I am. Just like an overview, we are talking about the comprehensive refugee services and the population we serve, but our legal service department is much broader. Since the topic of this lunch is hot topics, right, immigration, we also have other, I'm responsible for 5 programs One of them is to serve this population that David is talking about. I have a program that is a fellowship. We were able to get an attorney to represent unaccompanied children, which is one of the hot topics. A lot of children come into this country by themselves. We have children younger as 3 years old as clients. We also have another attorney fellow who was another, we got funding to fund this position to represent the former separated families. The families that were separated under the zero tolerance policy in mid-2018. A lot of those families had severe trauma due to the separation, so we're able to secure an attorney to represent them with their immigration cases before the immigration court here in Orlando. We have a citizenship program which is a little bit less restrictive to this population, that we can serve anyone that is interested in become a U.S. citizen, so they can vote. It's one of the benefits of becoming a U.S. citizen, the right to vote. This program is funded by immigration itself. So our agency has prepared applications for immigration and help them navigate into the legal part. And then we have a partnership with Hope Community Center in Apopka, who prepares these individuals for the interview and the test. There is a test. I took it. It's not easy. I can guarantee my husband is he was born here, and he will not pass the test to become a U.S. citizen, okay? So it requires a lot of studying and preparation. So we have this program where we have to help these people become U.S. citizens. And we also have a catch-all program, which is a very low fee program. We do charge for services that we provide legal representation immigration for anybody that needs it, that is below the 400% of the poverty guideline. Meaning that our fees are based on income, and of course, if you made a lot of money, you can go see Nadine. But if you make less than 400%, then you might qualify for our services. And we don't do employment, obviously, but we do family, humanitarian, and also deportation defense. So I just want to give you an idea so you know that there's more to that we're very busy. Thank you.
Just wanted to add, the last program that we have is youth services. We work with 15 to 24-year-olds, and basically they have two tracks. They can go into an educational track and a career track, depending on where they are. We help them obtain their high school diploma, or set them up with vocational programs so that they can get a skill and start working. We subcontract with 4C for childcare for our clients. And basically, what do we need for successful integration? We need community education. The clients need safe and affordable housing. They need employment. They need to learn the language. The opportunities for vocational training and career laddering have to exist so that they feel that they're whole again, that they are being successful. They're going back to what they knew, that they knew before they left their country. Mentoring, having individuals that know the language, know what it is to live in this community, that take them in and say, this is how I live my life, so that they can see an example, so that they can feel like they belong, not just within their own community, but with the community in general. And the ability to adjust immigration status. If I don't have a permanent status, I cannot ever feel that I'm home. I don't feel I'm at home. So it's very important that our individuals feel, the people we serve feel that. So we do a lot of advocating, we do a lot of education, we come and do talks like this to schools, to whoever will listen to us and explain how important it is to have programs like this. That our refugees, there are over 60 million refugees, or people that have left their home seeking a better life. And they are out there, and they can no longer come here because we have policies that are getting in the way of that. And we have things, and we have lives here that are very comfortable, and we have time and we have the resources to give to be able to help them have what we have too, and enjoy a peaceful existence and enjoy their children living a happy life. So this is one of our beautiful Burmese little refugee children. We thank you for your time, and if you have any questions in the future, I will be leaving my card here. I know that you guys are running out of time, but we do have time for questions. Or not? Go ahead.